8:30. At this time, I'll call the February 25th meeting of the West Memphis Utility Commission to order. We have to approve the minutes of the January 14th meeting. You received those in your packet.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the January 14th minutes.
I have a motion by Mr. Holmes to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Mrs. Brown. Any additions or deletions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Minutes are approved. January safety report.
What's going on? Our numbers, actually the numbers are from about the 11th. So the actual numbers today are 107 for days since last recordable and 491 for the days since last lost time injury. And of course, we're in good shape. We got goose eggs the rest of the way.
We had no injuries with all the ice and snow.
No, we have not. Very important. And to that point, I think January is just always going to be our monthly safety meeting on our winter weather policy, and like I said, proved true to get it out when we did, when we had that event. Basically what it is we restrict travel whenever we have a winter weather event. But we're not trying to keep the lights on or keep the water flowing, you know, something necessary, we don't get out. And then when we do don ice chains and proper footwear to try to limit slips and falls on the ice, slip bursts and stuff. And yes, we were very fortunate that we were off for some period of time there, but we still had people in working basically every day. We didn't have any injuries through the winter weather event. And then also, January was a busy month. You know, 3 employees that were needing to get their CDL license within the 6 months. I had 3 appointments scheduled, so we took a couple of weeks. Just to be honest, I felt like a CDL instructor for a trucking company there for a couple of weeks. We had a course set up, and like I said, they were both, all 3 of them were successful. We had 2 Class A's and a Class B that were able to first go around testing on the skills test. They were able to pass. So with that, unless there's any questions, that's all I've got at this time.
Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions? Okay, personnel update.
Just again, following up, just to make a comment, I can tell you our CDL training has become a lot more successful in the last 6 months than that. I think our supervisors will credit Brett basically is taking these guys and sitting down with them and saying, okay, here's what you need to study. Here's some websites, giving them material. You know, he can't make them study, but he's giving them the extra resources. And then once they do pass their test, literally we're out there, he's trying to work with them on a step-by-step process. So because of the more hands-on, and we've been talking, and that's one of the areas on the water, getting those guys with their water licenses, we'll have to work on, and we're going to start setting up those same type of things where we're sitting there saying, okay, here's the course material, and we're going to start setting time aside, and they're going to be required to sit there and study to get it. So there will be no reason why they shouldn't be able to obtain these licenses. Okay? All right, personnel update. We had one resignation from the meter department. He voluntarily found another job somewhere. I can tell you that position will be hopefully filled shortly. We did fill the position in the plant here recently, but it was a transfer from another department. Actually, a lower level tree trimming guy decided that that was not the best long-term career for him and chose to move in to a plant position. So the number of open positions is still the same, we just had a transfer. And again, we're continuing to aggressively look for some of these. Some of them we're not aggressively looking for. But hopefully, as things start to open up more, we'll be able to get it out there and get these positions addressed. I can tell you the tree trimming, we're struggling to find skilled or people who have experience. Not because our pay is too low, but because the atmosphere, or as the foreman told me, he said, Todd, these guys that are in this job, they go off and they work 60 hours a week. You know, they get a lot of overtime. So they look at the pure dollars that they're getting in a paycheck. The hourly pay is the same. The difference is our guys just work 40 hours a week, so they're not getting a lot of overtime. So where the contractors are off somewhere getting time and a half because they're remote, and it's, you know, it's a struggle that we're having because we're comparing an hourly wage, but when it comes to their check amount, it's a lower amount because of how many hours and the overtime that they're getting because they're away. So something we're going to have to try to figure out and see, because we know that tree trimming is very important. And having guys that can do it on staff, no matter what, is, in my opinion, a better alternative than using contractors because of the cost. And their cost, the contractor's cost, is continuing to go up also. Okay. Any questions about that? All right.
Is there an introducer, new engineer?
I will. He's gonna list. He's here for the next presentation.
Oh, okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
On the personnel. He's been here since July. He just hasn't been allowed to come to any meeting.
Oh. Hey, you're a man,
June, he hasn't been allowed to come to any of the meetings because of the limited staff. I said, well, come to this one because I was going to ask him to do it. And he said, what? I said, no, I'll do it for you.
Anything else? You got anything?
Not on personnel.
Anybody have any questions? Thank you. Next thing is approve the hire of F&A for design of Owen Substation Control Building.
All right, in y'all's package, y'all had a engineering evaluation form between two firms. I mean, y'all know that Fisher and Arnold has been doing a lot of our business for years in electrical. I mean, they're actually the firm who did the design on the Polk substation. They were the firm who assisted in the rehabs of Owen substation, not Owens, excuse me, Gateway, which is on the east side of town, and the Lehigh substation over behind the college. And the only station we do not have a control house that has backup batteries on it is Owens. So part of our budget this year was to build a control house at so it will have backup batteries for all the equipment that is located out there. Right now, the relays are located inside the breakers themselves. We're going to move the relays. Once we build the control house and put the battery backups, we'll move everything inside the atmosphere control house with battery backups also. And Peyton will be Peyton Smith is our electrical engineer. He was hired in June of last year. He just hasn't come to any meetings because we tried to keep the numbers inside here at a reduced number. But we're going to ask that you allow me to hire Fisher and Arnold to do the design, and he'll be watching over them. And then once the contract is let, he'll be on site overseeing the project also.
That's Owens over here.
Dover. Glen Bailey, on Glen Bailey, yes.
So we don't have a statement of work or anything, cost or?
No, I do, it's a not to exceed, but when you're doing an engineering evaluation of professional services, you're not supposed to take that into consideration. Do I get one? Yes, I do. And they've always kept their cost in line. I do a lot of, I have a good relationship with their group, and they help us out tremendously in a lot of areas where they don't even, yeah, they've been a good partner.
Make a motion, we accept Fisher Normal.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion from Ms. Marshall, a second from Mr. Holmes. Any further questions? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Okay, update on wastewater project.
Okay, we were going to go over this when we scheduled this meeting, but me and Ward have to be at a meeting at the college of a potential prospect. It actually started at 8. So I'm gonna ask that if we can table this and we do this, it's just an update, it's no actions need to be, if we can do this in March. But what I would like to do is I need y'all to go, and I would like to give y'all an update of what happened during the ice storm / 2 snowstorms the last week or week and a half, and get y'all's permission on one item. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. An update on, or just give you a snowstorm synopsis. You know, the ice storm came in first. We had called in a crew from Hope Water and Light to be here on site because it was affecting every other municipal. So in the state, and actually at that time I had 3 or 4 linemen actually quarantined because of COVID. It happened 2 days before that started to come. So I actually called Hope Water and Light. We asked them to send us a 5-man crew. They were actually here. We put them up in the local La Quinta, and depending on, so we had the staff here ready. We had 1 outage due to the ice storm. Okay, got through that excellent. Okay, then got through the weekend. We ended up having the snowstorm on Monday and started having the freezing temperatures when that storm started to occur. Before the ice storm, we had all our equipment at the water department up and able to run. High service pumps, all 5 of them able to run. Transfer pumps, all 4 of them. All 5 wells able to run. Issues we had during the storm due to temperatures, and it was not freezing. Due to freezing, we had Andrew Bass had done an excellent job getting everything wrapped, getting it in a way that it hopefully would not freeze. But we did have 2 failures. We had a transfer pump bearing go out on us, and we had a high service pump electrical failure on the pump itself during that process. Okay, I'm gonna say this: other than that, mechanical equipment, we didn't have any other issues. We had 1 break, a major main break on Ingram, but it was on Sunday. Michael Lamb and his guys got out there that day and was able to get that fixed. The rest of the breaks that we had were service breaks that were on customers, or fire protection lines that were on customers that were causing us to lose water. And I can tell you that the water guys, the wastewater guys, and my plant personnel, I'm gonna tell you, we need, I thank them more. They stood up during this time and performed excellent. Because I can tell you, there was always somebody down there at the plant answering the phone. That didn't mean that person was there 24 hours a day. They were changing shift every 8 hours, so there was people driving in and out so that somebody would be answering the phone. We had customers calling many late hours, and our water guys were going out in the elements and turning the waters off for the customers. I can tell you at one point, I was watching the system remotely on my computer at times, a lot of times, and we all of a sudden Barton Tank, which is on the east end, started dropping very quickly. I called Andrew Bass, I called Michael Lamb, I said, guys, we gotta get out there. And I got out there with him, and we started riding around looking, trying to see if we could find leaks. We ended up finding a fire protection line, a 6-inch fire protection line in a business that had blown apart. So we were losing water. We actually got a hold of the property owner met us there, and Michael Lamb went in and turned the valve and killed the fire protection for him because the riser valve was inside. But again, our wastewater guys down at the wastewater treatment plant, they have to go down there. One of them went down there one day and couldn't get out, so he just spent the next night there. He spent the whole night there. He just found in the spot and went to sleep. Again, I can't commend our people for coming in and doing what they needed to do. I mean, I know electric, for the most part, always gets a lot of, because they are out in it dealing with it. But electric had a few issues, and they were out in it also, but did nowhere near the issues that our water department were out there almost every day trying to find it, because, we were, at times, our water tanks did come down some. They weren't full all the time. I can tell you, the tanks that were remote had came down to probably about, they normally run, we try to keep them at 30 feet, and 30 feet is from the bowl up. A lot of times they were right around the 20 to between 15 and 20 feet. So we were having a lot of water usage. During one period, all 5 wells for 2 days straight never shut off. Andrew calculated, we actually ran 12 million gallons of water through that water plant. The capacity of that water plant, 12 million gallons. So the equipment, and I think that goes back to, we maintain the equipment so that when we do have issues, it was able to perform. So I again, commend them for what they've done. Electrically, y'all know everybody was having issues across the state, okay? We were not immune to that, okay? We actually had to drop 2 megawatts of load, okay? Actually, I was riding around, we were trying to find some issues, and I get a call from, we're part of the Entergy Local Balancing Authority. I got a call saying you need to drop 2 megawatts, and you got 30 minutes to do it, and I need you to call me and let me know you're doing what you've done, and you've done it. I said, okay. Of course, I was having a little panic attack because I was also dealing with a water issue at that time, but our generator down there on our water plant is a 2.25 megawatt generator. I went and cranked that generator and took this whole campus off of the grid, the distribution grid, isolated it. That's how we satisfied that need, so that we did not have to do any rolling blackouts within our city. Just again, now that I'm like, and I can tell you, I've talked to people, they don't know if this has ever happened in the Entergy, Arkansas. Folks that have been around years and years are like, we've never had to do that. But I can tell you, there were several cities that that had to drop load and were like, hey, I got gas generators, and they went to buy gas, and there wasn't natural gas even out there to buy. I can tell you, our coal plants, they had issues running, okay? Some of them tripped, just because when you have 10 days straight of freezing weather, the coal, they're just not used to having to handle frozen coal, I guess, in the South, which I completely understand. So there was some mechanical issues. We are lucky in the fact that a portion of our power supply contract is at a fixed price. We are in the market for the portion we buy from our coal plants, okay? We buy it from the market, at low price, but typically if prices are really high, our coal plants are running, so it offsets itself. The issue is our coal plants were down, so we bought very expensive electricity for some portions of our coal plants. So our power cost adjustment, our fuel adjustment that we normally pass on to our customers is a 1 month behind power cost adjustment. What I am asking is, can I spread that power cost adjustment over the next following 3 months so it does not impact our customers? And when I mean some of that electricity at a much higher cost, our normal cost when we buy electricity from the market is anywhere, I'll say, between $20 to $30 a megawatt hour. During that time frame, it was selling for $300 to $500 a megawatt hour. You know, we think about that, oh, that's really high. I can tell you, I heard numbers in Texas, and we know that's a whole nother ballgame, and that's what we don't want. And we are nowhere near that. We're nowhere near those numbers. Those numbers are in the thousands of dollars per megawatt hour that they were having to buy it at. But I would like, instead of doing a monthly recoup of our fuel adjustment, I would like the latitude, and I can give y'all updates of how much it is. I would like to try to spread that cost over the months of March, April, and May, so that the customers don't see it all in 1 month. Plus, the usage in the month, the next bill is going to be extremely higher. You know, even though I asked, hey, lower your thermostat, and if people did lower their thermostats, when it's 1 degree, it's running. It's running. The only way it's not running, I guess, is if you get it below 1 degree. But, you know, so that's what I need permission on. Again, I think we did, our people performed well, the equipment performed well during these things. We're starting to get back to normal. I hope we don't get 5 inches of rain, because then I'll be talking to you about wastewater issues. I can tell you the flood pond right now is dry. When I say dry, because we pumped it down yesterday, and we're going to make sure it's completely empty.
But that's a good idea to do that.
Yeah.
So you need a motion, or you just?
Yes, I need a motion then.
I'll make the motion that we.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. Discussion on it.
I have a motion by Mr. Holmes, second by Mrs. Brown,
Yeah, think
to
about
spread
that.
the power cost adjustment over the next 3 months.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Got
Well,
discussion?
the only thing I wanted to input was, how are you going to communicate this over to the public that you're going to do this?
So these meetings are public.
Well, I know, but you and I both know that.
I know, but not a lot of people watching. How do I do that? I don't know, because I can tell you, I can put it in our paper. I can put it on our social media page. If they don't look at that, I mean, I put stuff in my bills 3 months in a row, and they still, when we went to online payments, and I said, here's the website, it is for free, I still had people going to other websites and paying people to do it. And it was a whole separate sheet in my bill. I can't make people read stuff or keep involved in government.
You can't, but if you put it out there, it's up to you.
Yeah, if you put it
That's
out-
right, and that's all I can do.
And we still have that local cable channel, don't we?
Yes, and these are on that.
Yeah,
All these meetings are on that, and I can tell you, I know some people do watch them because they see me every month. The ladies at my church. Oh, I see you. No, I really don't. But, and I'll have Nick put it on social media, how we're going to do this, if it gets approved.
Just wanted to reduce the impact of all the excitement when they get their first bill.
I agree. I know. And again, no matter what, the usage is going to be the usage. And I can't reduce that. And I can tell you, when they get these bills in March, they just need to remember that we had 10 days straight of below freezing temperatures. That has never happened since 1940 something, before I was born.
I have Anchorage, Alaska on my phone. It was 2.5 weeks before Anchorage was colder than West Memphis in February. During the daytime and at night.
Oh,
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Do you remember what the motion was?
Yes.
To spread the power cost adjustment over 3 months, March, April, May. Motion by Mr. Holmes, second by Ms. Brown. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes.
Now, Todd, I very seldom comment because I'm still learning. You've answered both of the questions I had. I wanted to know when I got here, what steps did you take to maintain the services here? Because I read so much about Dallas. And then how is this going to impact us when I saw hundreds and then thousands of dollars on their bill? So, I think at this meeting, if it's referenced on your bill that you're sending out, you've given more details here than you're probably going to give in your information that you're going to send out that he inquired about. And this is going to be available without you doing anything because it's going to be on the website.
yes, ma'am. And that's something we can maybe do is put it, I don't know, I need to talk to Nick. Is this available through the website also where you can view it through the website? I know it's on 17.
17, YouTube, and the website.
So what we can maybe do is just put a link to this website where they can go view this meeting.
Because you give them really good detailed
Yeah.
I
information.
think on the
as to what
website it
you
takes
need.
you to YouTube, doesn't it? It does not?
No, it's separate.
Let me, and this is something I noticed, and I know you comment on it quite a bit, this neighborhood thing. I don't understand how it works and all that. I read them. I have never seen as many good comments about the city and the utility as there has been in the last week or so from the city. And if we could put something in there about what we just discussed, a lot of people will see it. Usually it's everybody ditching everybody.
And I think, well, our policy, we don't put nothing in that neighborhood. We have our own social media and we control it, and we'll put it there. If they want to come look at ours, that's kind of, I think the policy as the city, we don't want to be trying to interject. But I've seen Mike over there shaking his head with social media. So, but again, I can't commend our people either that were coming out. We do have some opportunities that we found out that we need to address. Their ability to move around in this stuff in vehicles. We're going to, because normally it snows and it goes away in a day. It's not around for the time frame it was, so that's some stuff we're going to need to address. The wastewater treatment plant upgrade, we were contemplating, do we want to put standby generators down there so the whole thing can run? I think we're going to go ahead and, we're going to go ahead and say, yeah, we need to do that, because we could do the same thing down there. The major issue could have been, and I had already talked to the mayor, and we had a very quick city council meeting, was, yes, I had this generator, and I have a small generator down at the wastewater treatment plant that I could have potentially started, but if they came in and would have said, I need you to drop, say, 8 megawatts of load, I don't have that much generation locally that I could have done it. We would have had to start doing rolling blackouts, and we discussed how we would do that, and we would do like 30-minute increments. So turn them off, wait 30 minutes, turn somebody else off, turn them back on. So it's only 30 minutes at a time, and we would have had to do that.
How long was our 2 meg?
It was only for an hour and 15 minutes. Trust
How
me,
long can we run that generator out there?
it's
with
got
diesel on
enough
it?
diesel in that tank to run 48 hours. Is that right, Brett?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm guessing, from personal experience, we were having this conversation earlier this morning. When it gets cold, you need to put stuff in there or it's gonna turn jello.
And that particular fuel, because it sits there so long and it's such a large tank,
Yeah,
we
it
are
takes long.
already putting additives in there and cleaning that diesel. We already have a system because it's such a huge tank and it runs that generator does exactly what we were talking about before. Every Monday, it cranks up,
Yes.
it tests itself, takes over the load, runs for an hour, shuts down, and then cools down. But even with that though, it's only an hour. I mean, so, and it's 48 hours at full load. If we're fully running. That night we were full load because everything I had at my water plant was running. Again, the diesel itself has cleaning and that type of stuff on it.
Because diesel can grow algae also.
Yes, it can get old if it doesn't get cleaned,
Yeah.
and they got a system on there
Well,
that cleans
good.
that.
I just wondered how long it was running, because I remember one year, I guess Hurricane Elvis, my brother-in-law worked around, they had generators, they ran out of diesel,
Yeah,
and couldn't get it.
right.
You know, they could find diesel, but they couldn't find anybody to transport it. Anything else to come before us? Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
So moved.
Second? All in favor? Three.
Thank you.
God, thank you for everything you did.